Hello everyone, this is Kelly with a tiny bit of this. In this series you will see me, Mom, and my daughter Mandy chalking on everything but the sidewalk. Mandy is an independent designer with Chalk Couture. You can find her on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and her website under Chalking Where The Sidewalk Ends. Come join us over on Mandy's Facebook page to see us live every Monday on her Mondays with Mom series. You may catch the full replay over on Facebook or an edited version right here on my YouTube channel. I would love for you to be a part of our journey with Chalk Couture, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell to get notified when I upload another Mondays with Mom or any other of my crafty videos.
Hey guys! It is Monday, so we are doing Mondays with Mom. For anybody who watches for the first time, my name is Mandy. I am an independent designer with Chalk Couture. We create high-end DIY home decor and apparel using adhesive-backed silkscreen stencils, transfers. Darn, I was with a group of people that were new to Chalk Couture over the weekend and they kept saying stencils, and now I have stencils in my head. Silkscreen adhesive-backed transfers, which are reusable. On average 8 to 12 times. You can get more out of them if you take care of them. And then we have chalk paste, which goes on wet, dries hard, doesn't come off if you wipe it, rub it, try to smudge it. It won't go nowhere. However, it is water soluble and it is easily removable once you are ready to take it off, as long as it is on something that is non-porous. We also have Couture ink, which works with our transfers in the same way, except for that is made permanent once heat set. So you can use it on clothing like shirts, hats, bibs, kitchen towels, pretty much anything that you can heat set with an easy press or an iron, or glass and ceramic ware that you can heat set with the oven or in the oven. So I do 2 set videos a week, or 2 series a week, I guess you could say, because I've been doing videos basically every day. I do my Thrifty Thursdays, where I do a project on something that I have thrifted, salvaged, scrapped, fixed up in some type of way. And then Mondays with Mom, where Mom comes on and together we do a project for her house. What are you doing?
Keep going. Trying to get your work.
Is it gonna hold that way?
Yeah, if you push it down far enough.
I think your case is too much in the way though. But we got a new holder thing. Trying to figure out how to make it work. It won't go in any further, but this is so loose. You know what you're shaking the camera to.
I'm sorry guys. Okay, keep talking.
Sorry, everybody's on. I'm pretty much done talking, ready to start chalking.
Okay, well, tell them what we're doing.
Alright, so tonight we are doing the farmer's market, which is actually a retired...
Sorry guys.
actually a retired transfer. They do have it as a limited availability in the vault. Last I checked, just a few hours ago, it was still available. But today they opened the vault and released 5 transfers that were previously retired in limited quantities. They are while supplies last. If you are interested in any of them, I have a picture of all 5 of them, plus the link on where to order in a post that I just did earlier today. And she will be putting that on her noodle board that I built her for her birthday. Yes. So you explain what you're doing real quick while I share this.
We wrote on the back what the transfer was, so that way we can put it on in the right direction when we're done with it. The easiest way to take a large transfer like this off is to turn it upside down and take the backing from the actual transfer. And the reason is, if you try doing it the other way, the likelihood of you getting your transfer folding in on itself is pretty high. So if you go the backing from the transfer, the better chance you have of it not folding in on itself, and that would be a mess to take care of. But what we need to do, especially with brand new transfers, is you need to fuzz them. So you need to get it to where it's not quite as sticky. That will help when you need to remove the transfer from the board from its stretching, because you don't want it to stretch out. So we're just going to put a couple of these on. You could use just one. You could use a bath towel, a hand towel, whatever you have. You want to do this several times. Now, when you wash these, it will feel like the stickiness was washed away, but it will come back. Stickiness comes back when they dry. So when you wash them, you want to lay them with the sticky side up until they're dry, and then put the backer on it, back onto the transfer. A little black dot, if you want to know how loud this is in the towel or what, but you want to try not to get anything in where your actual screen is. So everywhere you see red is where our silk screen is, and that's what we're going to be pasting through. Doesn't feel like it's sticking to this at all, but yet it still feels sticky. So, black.
Depending on the surface that you're using really makes a difference with how much you need to fuzz. Normally on wood, you want to fuzz a good amount if it is raw wood, or if it has been painted or stained and not like sealed or waxed. Now normally I would wax everything, specifically anything wood, just to make sure. However, because we are going to be coating this with polyurethane, I can't wax it. So we definitely want to make sure it's fuzzed pretty sufficiently, especially because it has a stain on it and we don't want to pull any of that up. Now this was apparently a self-sealing, is that what it's called? Self-sealing stain. So hopefully we don't have any issues, but I've never used this stain before on anything, period, let alone anything that I have been chalked on. So
first time for everything.
We're just hoping it works out. But
so for those who don't know what this board is, it's called a noodle board, which I did not know that's what they were called. I've actually wanted one for quite a while, several years. My kitchen's really small, and I don't use my stovetop every day, but I always need more counter space. So I always said I wanted to get one of those boards that go over the stove. I bought a shelf before that I used to sit on there when we had parties and things like that. But I actually kind of really like the idea of a permanent one, and then I just take it off whenever I'm cooking. And it's not that big of a deal to move it if I am cooking on the stove.
So because this is going to be sitting on the stove where it's going to be getting beaten up and food dropped on it and moved and touched and all of that constantly, that's why we are going to be sealing it with the polyurethane, just to make sure all the chalk stays, doesn't get chipped away, and doesn't get messed up. So you're not doing the historic downtown, right? So the only issue with this, I built it, is that I laid 4 6-inch boards. Well, the 4th one is cut down, but for whatever reason, even though I had them all lined up and clamped and everything, when I screwed the 3rd board into the 4th one, I have pocket screws on the bottom, it kind of shifted them, so they're not exactly flush on the top. So where the word historic downtown is, it would basically sit on the split from one board to the other, and because it kind of dips down like that, it would be one of them things that we would take the risk of it possibly not chalking correctly because it's not an even surface. So Mom said she's just going to leave those words off.
Say farmers market every weekend since 1926. Farm fresh produce. So we'll do all the other words except for the stores down. We're not downtown anymore.
Alright, so now we just want to push them down. Make sure there's no air bubbles underneath. Make sure it's all sealed really well. So you kind of want to work from your middle side, especially where you might have, where I have the breaks. The splits in the board are, you want to make sure that it's really hugging that little bit of a difference that it could have. Isn't much, but I'm definitely not a carpenter. Don't want to push all the way to the edge. We want to leave the edges where we don't need it pushed down pretty loose. That way when we go to pull this up, because it's so big, we want to have a decent amount not really stuck down if it doesn't need to be. That way we have a good amount to grip a hold of before we start really pulling. So what I was saying is you want to smooth from the inside out. That way you're pushing any air pockets that you might have outward rather than just kind of shifting them around. So she's going to be doing the words in fawn. Pull it down, do the bottom words, pull it up. So the paste gets applied with a squeegee. You want to kind of put it on there generously just to get it covering all of your open screen area, and then you go back over and take off all the excess. Bottom of your K, bottom of your M. When you're taking off the excess, you want to try to make sure it's taken off evenly and that you don't have any lines going through the screen area. That will leave a hard line in your paste. Stick a jar under there. Now when we do the paste and peel, you don't want to let your transfer touch the rest of your transfer because it still has wet paste on the front of it. So you can either hold it up, or I usually just tuck a jar or something underneath to keep it raised up while I let this color dry. I did get a tiny bit of a bleed just where this knot is in the wood,
Which is probably going to be expected throughout a little bit here and there, maybe.
yeah, just because the wood has texture to it. And then obviously, like I said, I wasn't able to wax it. So normally when you wax it, the wax kind of helps fill in any like indents, like what this is basically. It's got like an indented knot in the wood. So if we would have been able to wax it, that would have been good because it would have filled that in, but no big deal. It's actually very, very minuscule anyway, so I'm just kind of using a Q-tip to try to get up as much as I can before it dries. I can probably clean it up a little bit more after it is dry.
And this stencil transfer, jeez, God, I'm saying it now. This transfer is a distressed look. So it kind of looks like I didn't get all the spots, but it's supposed to look that way. If you look at the transfer, you'll actually see it in the transfer.
And like I said, the paste does dry fairly quickly. However, if you need to speed it up, you can always use a blow dryer or a heat gun. If you are using a heat gun, just make sure your surface comes back down to a room temperature before you put your transfer back down on top of it. If you are layering, so you're putting down paste and then you're putting down another color paste completely on top of it, this is not a layerable, but we do have them. You want to make sure it is 1000% dry completely all the way. When you're doing something like this where you're laying it back down on top of the chalk exactly where you already put the chalk, it's not as important to make sure it is 1100% dry. You just want to make sure it is dry enough that it's not getting disturbed by the screen laying on top of it. But basically, since it's in the same exact spot it was to begin with, there's no adhesive touching it. Whereas when you're layering two pieces on top of each other, you're actually getting the adhesive of the top piece stuck to parts of where the chalk paste already is.
Just gonna touch up anything she could touch up. You want to make sure you're going away from your transfer. You don't ever want to put the heat towards the transfer. I usually try to keep my hand there just in case to help block it. So while the surface is going back to temperature, we're going to be mixing, sort of, not mixing, but the colors that are going to go in it. Bark, brown, the iced coffee, and the papaya, And then for on his tail and possibly down on his, what is that called? His belly?
Underbelly.
His underbelly. We're gonna kind of like combine the two blues. And then of course, we're gonna have black in there too. And because I'm not doing this, I don't want it to be all one color. I'm a little freaked out about doing this myself. So I kind of, Andy and I went over what I wanted her to do. So she's going to probably do this part. I think I would not be fast enough. And I probably wouldn't care if I were doing this. And maybe I will do this again on another surface. I don't want to ruin her board she made me.
Right. Again, just because we're not able to wax it, waxing it kind of gives like extra protection. But it also gives you a slicker surface, if that makes sense, so that it's easier to wipe off a mistake if you make one. But not being able to wax it, I'm not really sure how well. I mean, I definitely think we'd be able to clean off a little bit, because I was able to clean off some up there, but it's definitely going to be something that it's not, if it gets messed up, it's not going to be able to like take the whole thing off. I kind of just.
So I didn't want to test it on this, but I will probably definitely try a real colorful one on a chalkboard. That way we can just erase it. And just kind of maybe practice my blending techniques and stuff. But I personally don't want to mess up the board, and we didn't do any type of a sealer to where it would be easily to be removed easily.
Like I said in the beginning, chalk paste is removable from anything that is a non-porous surface. So even though this stain says that it's self-sealing, I have no experience with it, so we just don't want to push our luck.
And I did 2 coats on this with that stain. I wanted to make sure I still seen the grain of the wood. I don't know what I did with it.
It's over there.
Oh, sorry.
I moved it after you shuffled it around several times.
I kept moving it around the kitchen about 50 times. You don't recognize the tag or you know?
AC one.
It was from AC Moore. And that's the brand. Deco Art.
Deco Art.
Color stain, self-sealing stain. So we'll see. I mean, it feels in most areas pretty smooth. I think it feels different than what I have felt stained before, like a regular stain. But we're going to poly over the whole entire thing, keeping everything nice and pretty. So that way, no matter what we put on it, it will hopefully stay nice.
Okay, so we've already stirred up all of our paste before we started.
What we were thinking is, wherever you see red, it's going to stay red. Okay? Wherever you see green, the teal, it's going to be red. Everywhere you see red is where she's going to chalk. So if you look in his
Gobble.
call it a gobble gobble, I don't know what it's called. Mandy's going to attempt to just outline in black and then fill a little bit of red inside so it looks like the majority is red. But it will have that outline of black so it will be defined. And the same thing up in here for his spiked hair.
I have no idea.
I don't know what it's called. Okay.
Does anybody have roosters that know what that's called?
Yeah, what is the... There's a name, I'm sure.
Alright. Comb. His comb.
His comb. Okay.
What's his gobble thing called?
Yeah, what's the gobble thing
Like-
called?
Is that what you take down in the car?
Oh, I don't. I don't know. You can tell we're not farmers, that's for sure.
Alright.
Okay, here goes.
Alright, well, I want to try to stay here so I can give them a good view.
Okay.
Think for a second on how to do this.
A waddle.
What direction?
A waddle.
Waddle.
Waddle, waddle,
There it
waddle.
is. That's what it is. Alright. There's nothing. I think I'm pretty good everywhere except for like where this black is up here. So I'm just going to lay a paper towel and just kind of blot it just to make sure if it dried out. I'm kind of helping put the moisture back in. Kind of reactivate it so that it doesn't hopefully. See, look. I want to peel from the corners. I want to peel side to side.
In the crease.
It'll be alright once it dries though. The sealer on there, it's going to kind of level that out.
Can you guys see that?
Alright, let me. So look, you guys can't even see his feet. His feet are there, I promise. But we use the papaya, and it's very close to the color of the board. So we might end up having to do that over again.
We'll probably end up, probably just do black. Yeah, you can only see it when the light hits it. It's
Yeah,
really light.
We can chalk like something on the back side just to see what the actual orange would look like. I thought it would be too bright. But
That's what I was thinking
it might
too,
not
yeah.
actually be.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till we wash it and absolutely love that rooster.
He is pretty cool.
He is spiffy looking.
Alright.
I love him.
We will make sure to take pictures once it is fully done and sealed, handles on, all that stuff, and post them. But for tonight, that is it. Hi, Bonnie. All right, well, that's all we have for tonight.